it's actually made up of three words, right? Retrieval, augmented, generation, right? And in these three words, we actually have answers to what it is, right? So we'll start with the third word first. Had this strange ability to hallucinate wrong answers to questions that probably it has probably never seen, and so on and so forth. And then post GPT 3.5 era, there are lots of experts in this retrieval space who understood that we need a pre-deployment. They have an extraction from knowledge base where it gets stored into vector database, and based on whatever queries or whatever conversation they have, and based on semantic similarity or TF-IDF, they. Hello everyone, welcome to this tutorial of Retrieval Augmented Generation, RAG for everyone. In this tutorial, we'll try to go to absolute basic so that everyone can understand Retrieval Augmented Generation. I reckon with the age of LLMs and with the age of AI, everyone should probably understand this concept really well, particularly people who are probably trying to improve the accuracy or performance of any of their automated conversational agents. So we'll get started. RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, right? So what exactly is RAG? People have different perceptions. The term has become really popular in recent times since the age of LLMs have come in. It has come in as a term which helps LLMs perform better when they're deployed as a conversational agents or an enterprise AI platform. But it's actually made up of three words, right? Retrieval, augmented, generation, right? And in these three words, we actually have answers to what it is, right? So we'll start with the third word first, generation. Go into a bit of history of that, because I reckon it's very important to develop an intuition of what it is before we get into the more technicalities of how things work. Okay, generation, right? So machine generation, text generation, audio generation, whatever, any kind of automated generation has been there for ages. Okay, so you can think of a machine, a computer, a laptop, a mobile phone, with which a human will like to interact. And some of the best user experiences or user interfaces are where the UI goes away and it's more like how a human might interact with a human, right? That is where kind of the whole thing blows up and becomes something really great. And that machine essentially has a backend or a backend brain, what I call as an AI database or AI as a service, to which it can send the question or the query and it can receive a response, right? In essence, any particular generation system that you might have at a high level essentially follows this paradigm or this particular way of it completing the conversation. Now, the questions that rise, which kind of where the whole systematic diversification or systematic changes basically come in, is the AI systems which are responding to user can build out multiple ways, right? Previously, in pre-2020, most of them were database as a backend. We had some hard-coded rules, and then since like GPT 3.5 era, we have these large language models who are here to help us make this user experience really good. This is why I reckon the GPTs basically came in. I don't think they had that much of advantage, particularly in enterprise AI, in terms of improving the accuracy and increasing performance. But they made the whole user experience extremely close to how you might want to interact with a human expert. Or the final point is where you might want to combine all of these three and get an advantage of all of them stacked into one single experience. Okay, a bit of history about all text generation so that essentially everyone understands that this is what we're talking about is not new, right? RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation, has been there like for ages. Since the time I will say any crude functionality has existed on databases, we have had RAG. It was the primary approach. Chatbots heavily relied on it. Majority of the time, the bottlenecks were how faster you can query a database to get a response to an answer of a query. There's lots of entity recognition and all of the stuff basically in there, which we might probably not get in this lesson, but we'll get to it soon. Early LLM period, since probably GPT 3.5 is where the whole user experience changed. A user typing or chatting with a AI agent now feels that they're chatting with a human expert. It It was really good in terms of experience, but there were considerations around costs, its accuracy. It had a strange ability to hallucinate wrong answers to questions that probably it has probably never seen, and so on and so forth. And then post GPT 3.5 era, there are lots of experts in this retrieval space who understood that we need a mix of past methods and the new large language models to create a better, accurate, as well as more performant, but with a great experience for the user. Oh, okay. But why was there need of large language models? I think I covered lots of this in the last slide. But again, it produces more human-like responses, can handle a wide range of topics. If it's a rule-based, it might have a very narrow domain of responses, which is not how you might want to interact with a human agent. It has more logical answers. It just doesn't give you one-word answer, so the experience is better. And it has ability, particularly with I think Gemma 1.5 with like 10 million context window and stuff. It has an ability of maintaining context over really longer conversations. All right. But why do we need to augment our LLM generations with retrieval? If the LLMs are so great, why do we need to augment them with retrieval? They have like some, I would say not some, but some really strange nuances which make them fail at certain things. It hallucinates a lot, which I mentioned. It has this ability of answering, picking up its own questions and answering them. It has been trained on internet data, which so there is huge amount of toxicity involved, huge amount of generalization, which does not move into a specific domain, is something that goes away. There are trained on trillions of tokens, and specificity of knowledge might be lost, and they had no exposure to any enterprise data. Like if you're working, if you're deploying it in a bank, in an insurance company, in a gaming company, so on and so forth, it doesn't have expertise needed to respond to that sort of customers to which that particular enterprise caters to. Now, the solution, RAG, right? RAG is essentially a mixed blend of all the techniques that I mentioned that existed in the pre-LLM era and the technique that we have been able to deploy since the whole transformer revolution has come in. It is not that hard. It's like LLM is basically backed by a database and information layer. So all LLMs are essentially a next token prediction machines, right? So as long as you have, in the recent context, you have more accurate and better information on more recent information, there's a high possibility or high probability of its next token being more accurate. Okay, if I'm not confusing you guys. So it's pretty simple. It has like a large language model in a sense for a RAG has pre-deployment. They have an extraction from knowledge base where it gets stored into vector database, and based on whatever queries or whatever conversation they have, and with semantic similarity or TF-IDF, they might want to get responses and accordingly rank them and get the best response and send it to the user. All right, it might all sound really confusing as of now, but if there is one thing that you should take away from this particular presentation is RAG is not something new, right? RAG is like literally answering the way any system, even without a large language model, might answer a question. It will probably take a question, go back in its whole knowledge repository, which might be a database, which might be a small chunk of text, and find if there is something relevant, add it to a small agent, and get a response back. That's about it. We'll go into the details of all of these. We'll go into the implementations. We'll go into how to best deploy it, how to make them 100% accurate. Again, not many people talk about it, but we will do. Yeah, more tutorials coming soon. Please subscribe to the channel so that you know when the new tutorials come in. Till then, yeah, take care and have a great time. Bye.